ओए यार क्या कहाँ गया वो?
अच्छा था वो जो एड्रेस कर रहा है.
हाँ.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Galgotia's Center of Experiential Learning, Innovation and Incubation, I, Akshat Mishra, welcome Honorable DT Sir, respected HODs, respected faculties, and dear friends to World Entrepreneurship Day. An entrepreneur is defined as someone who has the ability and desire to establish, administer, and succeed in a startup venture, along with risk entitled to it to make profits. The best example of entrepreneurship is starting a new business. The entrepreneurs are often known as the sources of incubators and innovators by replacing old with new inventions. Entrepreneurship is important for creation of employment, innovation, impact on society, support, research, and development. Now, moving further, I would request Mr. Pankaj Pathania sir for welcome.
So, good morning, everyone. On the behalf of GCIL2 GCET Greater Noida team, we welcome all the designatory on their World Entrepreneurship Day 2023 celebration event. The event aimed to celebrate the spirit of entrepreneurship and foster a culture of innovation among students. It is an opportunity to recognize the hard work and the dedication of entrepreneur who takes huge risk to grow their business and create new jobs. So today event is basically on the hybrid modes, and from 10 to 11 there will be online session, and for the 11 to 1 there will be the offline session. So welcome once again all of you, and your kind support for that. Now Akshat, over to you, please introduce sir.
Dr. Arvind Tiwari has teaching and research experience of 15 plus years, culminating in 45 plus research publications, books, reports, and citations score above 4,000. At present, he is founder of two startup companies incubated at Atal Innovation Center AIC under the Atal Innovation Mission and Startup in UP. Audrina Private Limited APL, established in 2019, is working on creating an ecosystem for the energy sector through innovation in solar technology and its application in different sectors deploying advanced tools and technology. Shrimi Impex Private Limited (SIPL), established in 2020, is working in the FMCG sector in developing customer-centered products in the health and wellness segment. He, in collaboration with ICICI Securities and Prudential, is working as an independent financial advisor under the brand First Step Financial. I would request Mr. Arvind Singh for a few words.
कैसा बताओ? Sir, Arvind sir,
Yeah, hi.
kindly start, sir.
Right, sure. Good morning, everyone. So today being the World Entrepreneurial Day, we need to, before even begin the journey, need to understand few of the basics. So today I would be delivering just the intro part. You can say that what are the few things one should say even start working on before actually say delivery. So before we have a presentation, there is a basic difference one must remember regarding business or a startup. So as a business owner, a person would be independently running the business for little impact or almost no impact. That is to say, in simple words, that the market already exists, and out of that particular market, he or she would be competing with other people. Whereas an entrepreneur would be taking business opportunities, of course, with the risk associated with it, to not only create a business for himself, but also to increase the market size also. So depending on what kind of product or service the person is offering and for which particular sector, the market could be significantly increased. For example, we can look into geo particular market. So when the geo started, geo cell services, the market was already established, but with still a lot of opportunity available for the increase in the market size. And that's what the geo did. It worked on not just as a business development, but also as one of the, say, increasing the market size. So that's also known as one of the biggest startup in India, the geo. Now, what exactly one entails when we say entrepreneurial journey? So here are a few of the things which I'm sure most of us would agree to and have worked on and learned. That is ideas. And of course, we all have ideas, not just the educated people, but even if you talk to a person walking on the street, he would be having idea one or two for any particular product, service, or say establishment. So we will have a few guidelines, a few points that what exactly ideas and how to deal with it. Then comes the research part. Of course, one must understand the product or the service he or she is offering to the market, to the consumers. Then one of the important part is, which most of the founders miss, is educating themselves. By educating, I don't mean just on the technical part, but also other aspects of the entrepreneurial part, journey. And then next comes the big thing, the funding. Though we all know money is important and the critical, but one cannot ignore that it's not just about going for the entrepreneurship, but also you have to look for yourself. And if you have a family and you have dependent people, so you have to make your financing strong enough so that even without zero business, you should be able to sustain yourself. Otherwise, all the idea, all the work would go for nothing. And then comes the people who are going to make that idea success either a failure. So team building becomes a very important part, a critical part, I would say, for the execution of the idea which you have been working on. And to implement and to help those team and to work for your vision, the process systems has to be developed. Of course, for a business established already under say particular sector, there won't be much of a difference because the processes are already established. You just need to buy, borrow, or maybe subscribe to it. But when it comes to entrepreneurship, you have to develop your own process systems. That how you are going to deal with the market, how you are going to deal with the sales, and all those things. So essentially, it's a backbone of your whole operation. And without this, no amount of funding, no amount of team building can actually succeed. And then comes the growth trajectory. Of course, you have already started the journey, but where exactly you plan to go? That is to say, without the vision and the mission, the whole purpose of having the idea, research, and building a team would go for nothing. So let's see what exactly we understand when we say ideas. So when we say ideas, it's basically you are already identified the problem. It might be either in the product or it might be in the service. So before actually putting the idea to work, one must ask oneself what exactly is the problem. So what is the cause of the problem? Why you feel that your particular idea would be a good fit in the current context, or it can bring a major change into it? Or when did the problem occur? Of course, it's all about evolving all the process, all the system, the life evolves. So the problem somewhere do occur, maybe because of the aspirations of the people, maybe because of the type of customers change in the customer behavior. There are a lot of factors, but one must identify that. And where did the problem occur? So when we are saying where did the problem occur, it could be in the delivery part, operation part, it could be with the sentiments of the people, it could be anything. So one must, the same idea has to be tested against that, is it going to be suitable to cater to that particular question. Then comes who is involved in the problem. There might be people with the sales team, there might be people in the operations team, there might be the product packaging, it could be anything. So depending on where, if you can identify who are the people involved in the problem, or rather let's say because of which you are having that particular idea, that should be identified and rectified when you are implementing with your idea. And why does the problem occur? That's also same thing. Like you have to be careful about why exactly you had that particular idea. What was the point for due to which the idea occurred to you, and how did the problem occur? That's almost the same. That you should be able to avoid those particular situations, particular points, whether it is in the form of product or operations or any particular team associated with the particular idea which you are having. So you should, and there are many more matrices to evaluate the ideas themselves, cross-check, verify, and see if it is for real or it is just your own imagination figment. Then research. Of course, we all focus on the product and service part, making it better. But before we actually do that, these are four basic things one must research on. For the product, your idea of a product or service to make an actual impact on the, say, society and customer market itself. So when we are talking about research in terms of market, it's not just about the size of the market, but also whether are you going to make an impact on the market size also. So depending on how big your market size is already and how big difference you are thinking of, which you can bring on, that basically decides your growth trajectory also, your profit volumes. A lot of factors decide just on the basis of, for example, let's say if you are introducing or you're developing a product for a particular sector for which the market size is maybe $1 billion, and you might, of course, would be a new entrant into that particular. So depending on the type of product or service you are introducing, you might be able to grab a certain portion to it. That would be business as usual. Coming to the innovative part or the entrepreneurial part, that would be evaluating yourself with respect to that particular market, that how much difference, how much market size your product or service is going to increase. Is it the same as the others, or you are bringing something different? So if it is going to be different, then there should be an impact on the increase in market size. So let's say from $1 billion you have making a projections of 1.5, so that's almost like 50%, which you can increase. And of course, keeping in mind the competition, the people who are already established, the company who are already established, they would also come into the same particular idea on which you are working. So essentially, with you being in that particular market, you have increased the size of the market from 1 to 1.5 billion with yourself and along with the competition, because they also have to push back, and in the process they have actually increased the market size. Then of course you have to understand the customer also. When we are saying customer, it's not just about with respect to say the financial conditions of the customer, but also with respect to the behavior of the customer, the social impact associated with that particular product or service to the customer. And there are a lot of factors. So customer behavior and all those kind of things has to be understood so that your product or service can make an impact. Then when we are saying geography, then of course the product or service, as far as product is concerned, that might change from one geography to another. because of the, say, certain environmental conditions. Of course, it may or may not. But one has to be, do a particular research about his product with respect to the different geographies also. Then another important part being the laws and regulations. Without understanding the laws, regulations, the licensing, the things to do or not to do when dealing with, say, not just the product or service, but also with respect to the finances of the company laws and everything. So as a founder, one must work on that also. And of course, as goes with any particular leader, if you have not educated enough yourself, even though you might be good in product development or the technology, maybe you might be good in marketing and sales. So even though you might be having expertise in one, you have to educate yourself for all the other processes, all the other systems, all the things necessary required for the growth of your idea and the company. So this is one part which people usually overlook, that of course, depending on what kind of team you are building, you would also decide that where exactly you need to say focus on educating yourself. And as we all know that education is a long learning process. So it's not just that reading few books and that's it. You have to keep yourself updated about all the aspects related to the company and the business which you are working on. So whether it is laws and regulation, marketing and sales, you just have to be comfortable with each and every terminology associated with a particular part. Then of course, just like any particular idea or any process or anything, this being the material world, your ideas, your product, service, everything requires financing. So one must be able to identify what are the different sources of financing your particular idea. It could be through startup missions from the central government, the state governments, and there are special agencies for that. Or it could be privately funded, maybe self-privately funded, or maybe from friends, families. That is called bootstrap course. And along with that, the types of funding which you are going to, if you are going for state-sponsored funding for your ideas, then the processes associated with it. Most of the time, people get, even though they might have information and knowledge about sources and the types, the processes to deal with is entirely critical part to get funding for your idea. And to do that, you must understand who are the key people in particular organizations for that. And the last point being the quantification. So even though you have done all the research, everything about your product or service which you're going to offer, you also need to identify or quantify the amount which you need for each and every process, each and every step. Then only if once you are able to quantify all the processes and the steps, then it will be a good idea to go for the funding part. Then team building, these are the few basic, say, team in any particular organization, that is admin and HR, to look over the whole legal issues, the managing the whole company, managing the people. So the people associated with these, just like in any organization, should be able to, it could be just you only, it could be you and your team, member of your team who are good in that particular aspects. So, and then you must be having a finance team also, who not only look for finding the new sources of financing your startup, but also for, say, financing yourself, financing the whole idea, the process, each and every step. Then is the marketing team, which should be focused on how to present your product or service to the customer in different geographies and so on. And then a sales team should be there. It could be basically to convert the marketing effort into the productive revenue. And of course, and these can be same people working on it, or it could be a different team altogether. Then comes a product or a service team, which essentially develops the product or service, delivery happens through the operations part, which could be the backbone of all your part. So you should be able to identify people associated with these particular skill sets and build a good team even before you actually come into the market. Then process systems, that is for each and every particular team, there must be a written, say, guidelines or rules, as you say, that how and they are going to execute a particular objective in their particular department, maybe in marketing. So what are the things they have to do, whether it is offline marketing or online marketing, and the processes associated with it. And remember that all processes which are going to be established with respect to your startup is going to cost. So when you are doing the quantification part, these things has to be taken into account. Otherwise, there could be, say, problems later on. So process system, since if it is already established business, the processes are already say available. One can simply hire the people or the softwares and start the business. But when it comes to a particular startup, that kind of changes it, because you have to introduce your USP, and because of the USP, all your process systems are also going to change because of changes in the marketing part, changes in the sales operations and everything. So that is essentially a backbone of your whole ideas, and this should be taken into account. Then growth trajectory, that is the vision and the mission, that where exactly you are, how you want to go, the path which you are going to take to cater to a particular market, the customer, the different geographies, how you are going to reach to the people far